We got hazmat suit with some more inventory slots. That's nice. And aeronautical engineering. Oh, this is where we unlock drones. That's how you know you're in the end game. Welcome back, everybody, to another Satisfactory playthrough series episode. Last episode, we left off making these babies, the adaptive control units, and we only needed 100 to throw into this ginormous space elevator to unlock the next tier. And I'm happy to say that we passed that. So let's go throw these in there. Bada bing, bada boom, there's our 100. The next thing we need is the modular engine. So this episode, we're going to switch over our manufacturers to make the modular engines. We're basically going to use this same manufacturing area that we set up in the last episode. These are going to be converted over to this recipe for modular engines, which needs motors, rubbers, and smart plating. We have a ton of smart plating, so that's not going to be an issue. I have these assemblers making motors here, and I haven't calculated how many. Actually, let's do that right now. Let's see, 2 motors goes into one modular engine, and we need 500, so we need 1,000 motors. And let's see how much we've accumulated here. We need 1,000, so we've got 200, 300. Yeah, we're gonna need a whole lot more. But you can see that these assemblers are idle, and that's because they're not getting enough rotors. Now the rotors are coming from our iron factory over here. So here is where we're making rotors. We've got just 4 of these assemblers making rotors. They're all overclocked, and you'll see that they're not getting enough screws. So we have a problem. We have a bottleneck in our screw production, and I'm going to show you why that is. So you can see here we have a level 4 belt coming out of our second buffer here, and it's not getting enough screws. So we kind of designed this really poorly. We have 10 constructors here making screws, and 9 of them are going into one level 4 belt. Sorry, 10 of them are going into a level 4 belt, so that's 450. That leaves room for 30 more screws on that line. And what I did is just I added an 11th constructor and had this hooked up into the second input here, but this doesn't make any sense. So what I'm going to do instead is take that 11th constructor, hook it into the single Mach 4 line there, so that we max out that line at 480. And then what I'm going to do is build 2 more rows of 11 constructors. And so we're going to have 4 level 4 belts that are all maxed, feeding into these 2 buffers here. That will allow us to pull all of these level 4 belts at max 480. So that's going to be my main focus at the beginning of this episode, and then with what time we have left, I'm going to try to set up those manufacturers to make the space elevator delivery and unlock the last 2 tiers of the game, tiers 7 and 8. So I hope you'll stick around for that. If you enjoyed the episode, drop a like, subscribe if you're new here, and let's get on with it. Alright, so I'm basically just going to copy this same setup here and mirror it on that side. We already have the space for it, so let's do it. Also, let's not kid ourselves, this is going to take a really long time. I haven't messed with any of the mods for laying out stuff, so we're still doing everything individually. So sweet. So we just finished adding the additional the 2 lines of Mach 4 belts here. We have 20 more constructors now making screws, and that's going to allow us to feed 2 level Mach 4 belts maxed out into a single buffer. We've already combined the first 2 lines into their own buffer, so now that buffer alone can now pull 2 maxed out level 4 or Mach 4 belts. That should give us more than enough screws now. Alright, so now we've got all 4 lines being fed in. So we are maxed out here. Our buffer is maxed out, and I'm thinking this is how I'm going to redesign probably all of my buffers from now on. So each buffer line will be comprised of a series of boxes just connected linearly like this, and they're gonna have 2 level 4 belts that are maxed out going into each buffer, so that way like we can just add parallel lines and the outputs will always be able to be pulled out at a maximum 450. So that should remove bottlenecks, and we just have to make sure that we connect the buffers like this where we have 2 level 4 belts on top and bottom too, so that we're matching the throughput here. So now the lines are flowing smoothly, and that should have removed all bottlenecks. Hopefully we don't have any problems with the ingots. I kind of feel like the ingot line could be balanced better, but still you can see we do have some pausing at the inputs for the ingots. Oh, it looks like we're slowing down on this line here. Not sure why that is, but let's investigate. Alright, looks like we have some funny routing going on here. Not sure. Oh, we never connected this belt. How silly. So this should be a level 1 belt. Not sure why that wasn't connected. That one is connected there. Huh, was that it? Was that the only thing? Whoops. So we had a little mistake there. Okay, so now that's flowing a little more smoothly. And again, it looks like we have a problem here. Oh man, we just like forgot to connect a bunch of these. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. So we weren't producing all of the ingots that we should have been. Do we have any more idle? Speak up now or forever hold your peace. What's going on here? Okay, this line's just maxed. There's nothing wrong on this side. Well, there you go. There's another reason for using a mod, so you don't make mistakes like that. Okay, enough of that. Hopefully now our ingot distribution is good. Yep, looks like we have no shortage. The buffer is still full. Alright, so now that we've taken care of the screw line, and we should be good on screws for a while since we just doubled our output. Now, as the buffer builds up, you can see we could even probably split one of these lines since we're not going to be maxing them out, and still have extra screws for somewhere else. So now, on to the manufacturing side. Ooh, and our rotor production is up, as you can see. It was really scarce, but they're starting to come in at about the rate I wanted them to. So now we're producing more motors, which we're gonna need since it's gonna take a whole lot. I believe it was 1,000 motors and we only had about 300. Okay, so on to the modular engine. We need to hook up rubber, which is over at the train station. We need to bring that over, or we could just probably grab all of it and throw it into these boxes here. But first things first is we're going to switch all of these recipes over. Alright, we are officially online. We've got our modular engines being produced. All I did was go and get all of the materials I needed, and I just stuffed them into these boxes here. And of course the motors are, I just plugged it in from the buffer that we already had here. That and the rubber is going to be our two limiting materials. So right now we have a good amount of rubber. I think we have around 4,500, but I calculated that in total to make the 500 units we're gonna need 7,500, so we're still gonna need 3,000 more rubber. And again, I'm just grabbing that as it comes in from the train station, so hopefully it won't take too long. I'm just gonna leave things running for a bit. This is gonna take a while since we're only producing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 per minute, and we need a total of 500, so that's 100 minutes. That's an hour and a half if I just left the game running, which I'm planning on doing. So now it's just a waiting game. All right, we're back, and we officially have all of the modular engines that we needed. So we're just gonna grab all of those, and we're gonna head over to the space elevator and stuff these in. Oh, let's not forget the... Okay, I think we already put these in. We are officially making our last space elevator delivery to unlock tiers 7 and 8. Here we go, folks. The elevator is sealed. And blammo. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Felt like we were shifting up for a second. Choo! There she goes. By the way, the power actually went down since I had overclocked these giant manufacturers. They were doing about 100, and I think they were pulling 180 megawatts, something like that, 170. At least 3 of them were, and we ended up having a power outage, so we had to remove all the overclocking on them and go restart that. We are going to need upgrades to our fuel generators, so you can see on my list, like, I added 24 more because I think that's how many we actually need to catch up. Of course, that's going to require us to rethink the recipe that we're using, so I'm going to look into the heavy fuel or packaged fuel options and probably go hunting for some alt recipes again, because I know that can be a huge game changer. But that's all in store for the future. Let's go check out our new tiers 7 and 8 in the hub now. Let's see what's in store for us at the end game. We're getting so close. We've come so far in this game. By the way, I made a really silly mistake last time. I was looking at this time down here, and I didn't realize that this is the session time, and I was like, oh, you know, I only spent like 9 hours total in this game from the moment I started this playthrough series, not knowing that this was just the last time since the last save. So 16 hours in the current session. So we should save this. There's episode 65. Okay, maybe it's not since the last save. I don't know how that works, but we've definitely been playing this game for more than 16 hours. You can look at these times up here. So we've been playing this game for 112 hours now. I mean, that's also kind of an astonishing number. It doesn't sound like that much if you just think about the total number of days. That's like, what, less than 6 days? Or less than 5 days, actually, right? That's less than 5 days. And this is already episode 65, so kind of crazy. But yeah, let's check out what we've got in our last 2 tiers. Bauxite refinement. We don't have any mining operation for bauxite yet, nor do we have any mining operation for sulfur or quartz, or even though we did find a quartz mine. We also don't have it for Caterium, so we need to do that. Oh, level 5 belts, finally! This one's a game changer for sure. Oh, so we're finally going to get to be able to produce aluminum, and that's what's going to be required for the level 5 belts. We got hazmat suit with some more inventory slots. That's nice. And aeronautical engineering. Oh, this is where we unlock drones. That's how you know you're in the end game. I'm curious to see how drones are gonna do, because let's see, the fuel is battery, so it's gonna require more electricity, so it's gonna put an electricity tax on our system, and we'll see how that scales compared to like coal for our tractors. Sweet, we get the hover pack. Hell yeah. What do we get in tier 8? Nuclear power. And we know, we came across a uranium mine in one of the caves, so we know where that's at. Somewhere in the north, like east area of the map. Oh man, we're gonna get a new type of generator for the uranium and the power plant. Holy crap. I have a feeling it's going to take a really long time to get through these tiers. Like, if it's taken us that long to get through the first 6, I feel like these last two are gonna be really long. Oh, and we get Mach 3. So our throughput is just gonna shoot up through the roof. Wow. And then particle enrichment, which is just like looks like a bunch of things to enhance our nuclear power output probably. Very cool, very cool. So there you go, we did it. We have officially unlocked the last 2 tiers in the game after putting in, what was it, 112 hours into this game. We have arrived at the current state and things are looking good. You know, we're getting to a much more scalable part of the game. I think we're, besides the Super Assembly Center, I think we're pretty well prepared to scale into the late game. And like I said in a future episode, I also want to move this thing out to the lake that's over on the west side of the map, that west coast lake or ocean, whatever it is. I think it's a lake because you see mountains on the other end of it. But yeah, that's gonna do it for today's episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please drop a like if you enjoyed it and subscribe if you're new here. Check out the playlist in the description as well as in a card above this video for all of the episodes in the series, and I hope to see you in the next one. Peace.